Was I the only person missing development diaries? I guess not, because we're coming back with the 1.36 patch first dev diary, and it's titled, of course, Persia. I was telling you that multiple times because Johan himself was sending some signs that the next DLC almost must have been about the Middle East. So today we start with Persia, and the first thing that we're getting to know immediately is the name of the next DLC, which is gonna be called EU4 Kings of Kings. And it can be wishlist already, even though we don't know the release date yet. But usually it's probably a couple of months from the first dev diary, so if I were to guess, it's gonna be in January. Of course, the DLC itself is planned to be around a specific region, just like Lions of the North, where Origins, a little bit less with Leviathan. So we are starting with the mission tree for Ardabil, which is obviously not huge, because the biggest goal of Ardabil is to form Persia, which will unlock more of the missions. And I will not go very deeply into what they explain about the missions, because it's mainly about uniting Persia, getting claims, and one important note that they left us here is that their goal is to not make it uber easy broken playing by itself mission tree, because Ardabil is supposed to be a harsh nation to start us. So they're trying not to change that much. He started getting some bonuses after getting out of the trouble. What's interesting, Ardabil is getting their own holy orders, which cost double, because they cost 100 mil points, but they're also giving 2 basement power in every province in the state, so it's worth it. Let's say a state has 4 provinces, you're getting 8 dev clicks for 100 points, which means that you're deving for like, what, 12.5 points per dev click? And then it obviously also helps with converting the religion and giving you more manpower. Interestingly, they're also changing a bit the religion map mode in Persia, because based on their research, currently starting religious map mode is wrong, because it's mainly Shia around here, while in fact it was converted from Sunni to Shia by Safavid dynasty itself in early 1500s. This is it for Ardabil. How about Persia? The mission tree? It's long. But first, we've got some updates to the Persian ideas. Just a reminder, I think Persian ideas are really top tier, especially quality wise, but they decided to make it even better economy wise, because instead of 5% production, they're gonna get 10% production. Instead of 10% manpower recovery speed, they're gonna get 15% and 5% dev cost. And finally, they are getting 15% tax meta instead of 10% of it. So the mission tree itself, as mentioned, it's huge. And yeah, that's 51 missions in total. But apparently there'll be a nation with 55 missions, so 4 more. And my bet is on the map blocks. How about the highlights of the mission tree from Persia itself? Well, there's a part that is focused very much on expansion, so uniting the Persia region, the Khorasan region, which is a bit east, Caucasia, which is a bit west, and even in long term, going into Anatolia, Egypt, and India. So massive conquest, which will end up with like almost perfect borders. What's very important, yes, you are getting claims on these regions, but they are not permanent claims, which is very important because permanent claims give you 25% scoring cost. So this is at least not as OP as it might seem to be. What's interesting, some of the missions for Persia will depend who did you use to form this nation. For example, if you do it as Safavid, so Ardabil, you're gonna get tier 4 guarantee form that gives you improve to the feudal theocracy ability, and it gives you missionary strength, ulama loyalty, and additional privilege. If you do it as one of the Timurid successors, so the requirement is to have pretty much a Timurid dynasty, and I think Timurids couldn't from Persia in the past, now they will be able to. That gives a tier 2 guarantee form on the other hand, which unlocks the state of conqueror's decisions, as well gives you 5% cooperation cost, monthly autonomy change, and years of separatism. The state of conquerors itself, it costs 50 admin mana, it works for, I guess for 20 years, looking at this. It gives you additional 10% cooperation cost, province war score cost, so you know this 15% cooperation cost might be super useful for faster conquests, but in exchange you're losing 2 diplo points a month, and 200% reform progress growth. So it might be useful in some specific, I think it might be useful. What's the cost of it? 2 points a month, that's 24 points a year, 20 years, although yeah, that's like almost 500 points in total in 20 years time span. Yeah. If you conquer a lot, it's worth it, because you're converting diplo points into admin points for the co-creation cost, right? But of course, it depends on your strategy, and it's good that you can turn it on just for a specific time. If you form it as Mazaradani tax, so Mazaran, Gilan, or Bypass, which are apparently descendants of the Sasanian Empire, which you might know from my MP series, you get a tier 7 guarantee form, which gives you administrative cost grant plus free from progress per level. So if you have total amount of 5 level of advisors, it's gonna give you 15% from progress growth, which seems fair. And then you're getting +1 free policies as well as cost of advisors with the ruler's religion. It's fairly good, but it's tier 7, right? Here you're getting tier 2 and here you're getting tier 4, so it's just more long-term reform. Finally, if you do it as one of the ships, so either Akkuyunlu or Karakuyunlu, you are gonna get Legacies of Seljuk mission, which gives you tier 5 guarantee form with CAF cost and CAF to inflation, so you can embrace the real CAF meta. There is also a privilege that you can unlock with deving and building up your Persian region a lot, that's called Great Works of Iran. So every province in Persian Khorasan regions, that's lots of provinces, will get every penalty from the development cost negated. So let's say you've got mountains, no dev cost penalty. I know it's an early works, that's why I'm gonna give my feedback. I don't know what are the requirements. Maybe you have to dev whole Persia to 20 development, then this is fair. But if the requirements are not huge, I would say halved, not negated. They're also having some missions to play toll, like the Racks of Persia, that gives you 50% price of silk for, is it for 41 years? Plus of course for 25 and dice for 25%. You can also exchange this for money, and from what I see, this is 5 years of your production from all of this, or 2 years of production for all of this. I love it, and especially what I love about this, it's not like perma or anything, it's temporary. There is a part of the missions, some of the internal missions that allow you to recruit a Grand Vizier advisors from one of your estates, and depending what estates, oh yeah. Yes, see, so you can choose from ulema, merchant guilds or amirs in this case, and I assume depending what you choose, there are gonna be different categories of the advisors. So let's say you choose amirs, which is a nobility, you can get, for example, a grand captain. I think he's 100% more expensive, he's giving you land maintenance, and it's giving you an effect from these advisors as long as he's hired. And this is yearly corruption, siege ability, and monthly mere power. I love it, especially again, this is temporary, right? Because it's a one-time mission, so you have to choose when you want to use it and which effects you want to get out of this, which helps you to plan your campaign very well. Cultured Court and House of Knowledge is minimizing chance of hunting accident for your heir. It might also decrease the chance of getting a comet site or getting a plague events or Air Force ill. Don't worry guys, you're gonna still get these events. Then you go into new estates that Persia is getting. And interestingly, this is the only nation that can have more than 5 estates. But as they mentioned, these 2 new estates are both very much focused on military. So you have Amish that are military, you're getting Kizilbach as well as Gulam. So based on what I'm reading here, it's not like, oh, you're gonna get 3 mill points from this, or you're gonna get 300 of Crownland. They are trying to make some of the projects mutually exclusive, so this way it's great to have them, but you rather have to focus on one of the estates, more like taking advantage from all of them at the same time. I assume you'll be able to do it a bit, but not like fully. So the Kizilbach are pretty much Turkum and cavalry and infantry of the state, and giving you some bonuses to Cav. If we zoom in for this, you will see that you can get, the basic privileges. This is our basic force limit of the special units. So see this Kizilbach infantry, they're getting right now land fire damage, but it might change. Come on, I expect some innovations here. Give them a bonus that none of the other special units have. That will be my preference. And the force limit depends on the privileges that you took, because they're increasing the force limit. There's a bunch of missions that are improving the privileges you can get, same as you remember for Janissaries for the Ottomans. And you see that's why these privileges are giving you some bonuses like artillery combat ability. There are also some downsizes, but in this case it's just 5 of absolutism. So I think the downsides are not that bad. There's a fort maintenance, garrison size, I see infantry combat ability. Wait. This privilege has the following effect once enacted. Scales with influence. At 100 influence, which probably is not hard to achieve, at 100 influence, Persia gets regimental discipline, which is plus 20 land fire damage and plus 20 shock damage. So you're saying I can get land fire damage and shock damage. I can get infantry combat ability for all of the units, not only special regiments. I can get artillery combat ability for all of the units from only this estate. And then you see the force limit. If you stack the modifiers, it might be not that much lower than your national force limit. It's 21 out of 37. Persia might be a bit strong if you consider the very decent military modifiers and national ideas, but of course it's all work in progress, so I assume it's gonna be balanced. Yeah, so the third military estate is Gulam, and there's again a bunch of privileges you can unlock for them. Like every Zoroastrian province is getting local empire modifier plus 30%. Harsh treatment might be useful to stack absolutes very early, but yeah, nothing's super special. And you see they're more focused on reinforcement, speed, maintenance of the regiments, and force defense. There we go, guys. Branching missions are back. But apparently, from our reading here, they got a big help from Stiopa, so fellow modder from Poland, to organize the branching missions. Remember, they looked like this. You just can't read it. Now, apparently, before you branch a mission, you can preview this mission. So you have the default mission tree, and then you can see all of the branches. So you can preview the Shia. See, I'm previewing the Shia path right now. Or I can preview any of other paths to see like what missions, what requirements, and what bonuses I'm gonna get from these branches. I think it's still work in progress and can be visible even better, but it's definitely a step into the right direction because branching missions were awesome, just hard to read. So as you saw already, there's a bunch of branching missions for Persia around the religion. There is a path for the Muslims, which you can see over here. It's decent sized. And what's interesting, with the Muslim, you have two different branches. You can go either for Shia or Sunni path. If you're anybody, you can choose either. It's up to you. Sunni missions are more focused on expansion and unifying the Islam, while Shia are more about playing tall. So that's a perfect split, right? You can decide, okay, I'm gonna play tall Persia, 400 value my trade node, and let's go for the Shia path. Or I want to go and conquer half of the world to unify Islam. Then we go for the Sunni branch. They're also introducing with this Muslim branch a new mechanic called Persia influence. This is a tier 3 government reform that gives you nothing special, but it unlocks this little thingy here. The Persia influence, which is increasing by default, is decreasing a bit by default. There are different requirements for both, which I'm not gonna deep dive into, but more importantly, this Persian influence can be used to influence other countries. So for example, you can invite other smaller countries into your sphere of cultural influence, which will make them like semi-subject of yours. It can be only sent to the nations of your religion, so of course as Sunni is a bit easier than as Shia. They need to be within their trade range, and you can see they become a pseudo-subject, paying you some money, but not as much as a normal subject. So at this point, they are not much useful, but once they are already your sphere of influence, you can spend even more influence to make them your actual vassal. If you want to do that, they need to have your primary culture, they need to accept the request, and I assume the requirements for that might be a bit similar to, creating a normal subject, as it's based on like development, opinion, and other stuff. If you're wondering, okay, but how do I get countries with the Persian culture? Well, you can use Persian influence to promote your culture to the other countries, which I'm wondering how it's gonna work, because let's say a country does not have a single development from Persian culture, and then you promote your culture and their main culture becomes Persian. Does it convert any of the provinces, or is it just changing the main culture and it has 0% development? I assume it's the second, but don't worry if you're a bit of a more aggressive player. Persia is also getting a new peace option, which is also forming your primary culture on another nation. So apparently if it's your culture group, it's fairly cheap, but against the other countries, it's similar cost to forcing religion. So it's not like you can go and make France Persian. How about the buttons that are just above the influence stuff, where you can get money based on your subjects and some bonuses of how you can use the sphere of influence. Well, each of these is giving a bonus to the sphere of influence usage, but then the other bonuses on top of that. So you've got money for the collect tax, for the promote good reputation you are getting plus 50 opinion and trust for each of the subjects, while with recruit the Persian enthusiast you're getting empire from your subjects. And you can unlock a new CP in your mission tree as well, which is spread the true faith, which allows you to enforce the culture. Yeah, we talked about that, you could do that already as Persia, but this CP allows you to do that with decreased war score cost. Oh, there goes another 10% death cost, but it's only in your own culture provinces, and to do that you have to convert 50 provinces and 15 countries to your primary culture. So as we talked, you need to actually do a lot to get this bonus. So this kind of the mission, I like it. Well, that was the Muslim branch, but what if we want to go Zoroastrian, the cooler Persia, right? Well, if you want to do that, you're coming back to old times, which means you need to hurt a little bit and go through Muslim revolts. It minds to the Truth or Ulema loyalty. So this is the goal of it is, yeah, you can go Zoroastrian, but it's not gonna be easy. Well, what I see aftermath of the Ulema rebellion is that you can enact here one guarantee form. It makes you Zoroastrian, and it gives you Asha monarchy, which is development cost. The royal fire's ability, we'll see how it works. Missionary strength, yeah, you see that, right? Missionary strength, transit to have monarch administrative skill +2 and innovativeness gain. The free royal fire's ability is available for all Zoroastrian countries, but Persia is the only one getting additional support for it. Well, there's lots of stuff happening here, so I'm not gonna go too deeply into details, but I do see manpower in the True Faith provinces. And bonuses from these free buttons, which are assumed work in progress because they are the Russian ones right now. So we've got reform progress growth, monthly administrative power, but you're using the Asha Vashikta, so I assume that's this progress. Development costs 10%, so there was 5% here, another 10% here, and another 5% from ideas, right? Monthly diplomatic power, you can get monthly meal power and own territory dice roll bonus. I love it. So after becoming Zoroastrian, as Persia, you receive the following event, which is a Zoroastrian identity. So this will allow you to change your color and name to Eranshar, which is, I think Persian color is cooler, but of course it depends. And interestingly, it makes Byzantium a historical rival. By this time, they're gonna be probably dead anyway. And apparently, Zoroastrian Persia, so Eranshar, is gonna have new traditions and ambitions, so just the new ideas. I'm interested in how they're gonna look like, because they are still work in progress. But, you know, if you want to keep Persian ideas, you can keep them if these are gonna be wars. There's also ability to spam Center of Reformation for Zoroastrian, so both in the Muslim branch and the Zoroastrian branch you can unlock it. You can unlock our ability to propagate religion. Trade policies is something that Muslims have, so that's good for the balance if you want to go Zoroastrian instead of Muslim. Well, while Muslim Persia had some abilities to influence the other nations, Zoroastrian Persia can do that as well, just in a different approach, because the Muslim Persia was more focused on cultures, and the Zoroastrian Persia is more focused on religion, because you can invite into your community to ask the other nations to convert to Zoroastrian. Rule of thumb for AI acceptance is all the AI reasons, so why would they accept a vassalization apply here, though not as strict. So it's a bit easier to vassalize. Yes, and Zoroastrian can have the vendor of faith. That is one of the big disadvantages of this religion so far. So good change, especially that now we can increase this level of the vendor of faith by inviting the other nations to become Zoroastrian as well. And plenty of flavor events. Let's see. What we've got on the flavor. What do we have here? Guardians of the Strait. Sierki Ruja in the city of Ahmedabad, Turkmen recruits flock to the banners. Victory in Egypt, wealth of Bengal. So, you know, besides all of the stuff around the mission, there's also plenty of flavor events added. Well, and that's it for today's Dev Diary. So guys, if you did enjoy it and if you want me to cover more of Dev Diaries in the future, just let me know by liking this video because it freaking helps to reach more people. And next week, we're gonna probably see the biggest mission tree in this DLC. So, the Mamluks. At last, Mamluks are getting some love. Bye!